Hola! Are we doing it? Are we doing the thing?
We're doing the thing. This is it. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Let's do it to it. Hi, everyone. I am Phoole, Phoole, and I am the official jester of the city of Milwaukee. I am a writer and igniter, and I am here with the very awesome and amazing Propeller Girl, who propels me.
Hi, I'm Propellergirl. My name is Deena Ebbert, and I'm a speaker and a writer and
a propeller.
a propeller, I guess you could say. And today is a very important day because it is volume two of Pump Up the Joy, the little show that AE and I are doing. And today we decided that we are going to talk about
the feeling of I love my job and bringing that feeling to work every day, whatever your work is, whether it's work that you do where you're making something for people or where the work that you're doing is bringing yourself to other people to make something for the world. Whatever your work is, how to bring that feeling of I love my job to work every day, on which my colleague, Deena, also known as Propeller Girl, is a super rock and roll star expert. So Deena, you were telling me before we got on the air about four points that you as Propeller Girl are really into for helping people bring that feeling of I love my job to work. Like I love my job. I have all of these different facets of my job. I'm a DJ, I'm a host, I'm a team leader, I'm an organizer, I'm a cheerleader. All of these things are all, I consider it to be all part of my job of being Phoole.
right.
But not everyone has that come naturally. So what are some easy to remember little ways that people can tuck into their repertoire to make it so that every day when they go to work, they bring that I love my job feeling, even on the days when they wake up and they're like, coffee, weather, news, work, people, smell. How do you bring that feeling of I love my job to work every day?
I particularly love how you put that, because one of the fun things about doing this show with you is the stuff that happens off the air before we go on. And one of the things that we were talking about that we would need to address was, what do we do if we have people who are in the comments and they're saying, oh, I hate my job is stinky. So we decided to address that right away. You know, I think you and I have established a commitment that loving our job and knowing before we go into our job,
right,
that we agree that we love it. It gives us this resilience, it gives us this armor, it gives us this flexibility, it gives us tenderness, it makes us more open, it makes us stronger because we decided that in advance. But not everybody has had it, you know, as many turns around the I love my job dance floor as you and I have.
Exactly.
And a couple of the things I think, well, I'm going to start with mindset, and then I want to throw the ball back to you on a couple of things that I think are directly out of your book, which is why I like this so much. The first thing I think that will help people if they're looking at ways to actively live in that space where they love their job, the first thing is mindset. You've got to get your mind right. If you believe in advance that it's going to be wonderful, the likelihood that it's going to be wonderful, you've just got a higher probability of success. So I'm going to ask you a thing. Like, do you ever go to a sporting event like a football or a baseball game or hockey or highlight or anything? No? What about?
I went to a hockey game one time. I went to a baseball game once too.
Were people excited?
Oh my God.
Absolutely. Were they in line and just super crazy to get in?
Yeah, people were excited in their cars getting into the parking lot. People accept that that's a communal release of celebration. That's a place that's agreed upon where everyone's going to go and have an awesome time. It's part of the contract of being there in the first place.
Okay.
And as an artist who doesn't usually go to sports ball, it was a little weird for me to go, oh, wait, what's everybody? Okay, I just got to, Which of these robust lads are we cheering for? Very good.
But you were swept away with that, weren't you?
Exactly.
You were part of that communal experience because of the enthusiasm. Now, you're a musician, you're a DJ, and you come from a musical family. So have you ever, like, gotten tickets to a concert that you've been absolutely thrilled, and it's been the greatest thing ever?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite.
The same thing happens there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's you definitely enter into that, oh my God, this is going to be completely amazing feeling ahead of time. So why can't we bring that every day? That would be pretty fun to enjoy every day.
Well, here's where the mindset comes in. When we are buying tickets to a concert, or we're getting ready for a sporting event, or, you know, even something, you know, as going out to supper with our friends, we believe in advance that it's going to be wonderful. We don't buy tickets to a concert and go, oh, this concert's going to be so horrible. We buy tickets to the concert and go, this is going to be
right,
the best thing ever. It's a mindset. We believe in advance.
Right. We're just using intention, which is stronger than muscle and bone. We're having the intention to have an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to influence the outcome no matter what. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's simple. You just have to get your mind right. Before going in, look at your workday and go, I'm going to believe in advance without having it proven. Well, the proof can come later. I'm going to believe in advance that today I can love my job. And if you try that again and again and again and again and again, you'll start to notice things that you love.
Right. Right.
So
that's fantastic. I love the intentionality of it. And you know, now that I think about it, that's something that I do when I approach my job, whether it's my job helping the call takers for the city of Milwaukee help the citizens, or whether it's my job to lead a cast at a show, or whether it's my job to lead an experience of music on the air with Phoole and the Gang, Friday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central U.S. time at thetube.com. I managed to get that in there. But when I start those, yeah, it's really important. And I do it without even thinking about it. I've been doing it, like you said, we've both been in the game of I love my job for so long. I don't even realize, I'm not even conscious of the fact that I am saying to myself, I have to be having fun before everybody else can have fun, so that we all give each other permission to have fun. That's so important. So first point is, you got to get your mind right. You got to get your mindset.
Because I love what you just said. When you give yourself permission to have fun, then other people have permission to have fun. And you have so many diverse jobs. You're a DJ, you're an artist, you're a director, you're the court jester of the city of Milwaukee. I think there's only one of those in the world, and I'm looking at her right now.
Right? And I got a plaque and everything.
You arrived. So, but do you do that for all your different jobs with the same kind of intensity and passion?
I do. And you know, it's funny because I started taking martial arts a number of years ago. 10 years ago? It's been 10 years. And one of the first lessons I learned was my fight teacher said, hey, Phoole, when you're attacked, smile. I said, why? Why, Fighty Bob, who is my fight teacher? His name is Bob. I call him Fighty Bob. It's not nice. I shouldn't call him that, but he's so fighty. I said, Fighty Bob, why should I smile? And he said, smiling is a physiological action that clears the mental buffer for just a second. Just the act of making the corners of your mouth go up makes the part of your brain that has all the chatter in it shut off for a second. It clears your buffer. It hits a little reset. It's a soft reset. It's not a hard reset. You don't have to remember your social security number again or like relearn multiplication, but it's a soft reset. It clears the buffer and gets you ready. And when he told me about that, I realized that before I go on stage, before I go on the air, before I'm in the public, before I open the door to any job, the last thing I do before I go through that door is go, and like I've cleared the buffer, I'm ready to be present, and I'm ready to be in a space with other people having a conversation that's actually happening. And I do that, I've done that for years without even thinking about it.
So let me get this straight, because I know that one of the things that you and I want to do is for the people who decide to hang out with us, and again, we're going to go for like 20 or 30 minutes tonight like we do it on most of our shows. Most of our shows today, this is our second one.
That's right.
One of our goals is, aside from just being enchanting, is to be educational and provide some takeaways. So if I hear what you're saying it when people go, I don't know how to get my mind right. What do you mean? You're saying it's as easy neurologically
as just
smile.
And it sounds so dumb. It sounds so Mickey Mouse and so trite, but it actually, there's some science and it works. It does clearly for a second.
So if you've got someone who says, I don't feel like smiling because I don't like my job, would it be possible to have a little trick up their sleeve that might help them smile, like play a song that you really love that'll make you smile a little bit? As long as you can get yourself to smile, you can get your brain wired in the right way so that you can walk in deciding in advance that believing in advance it's going to be wonderful.
Absolutely. You can practice that intention. It can happen.
So what would be your song that would make you smile? I love asking you this because you're a DJ. You know all the songs in the universe.
For me, wow, it would probably be a tune by the Young Punks called You've Got To, but it has to be the Norman Cook remix. It's an amazing tune. For those of you who, for some mysterious reason, have never heard this tune, after this broadcast, I will put a link to the tune and also to their whole catalog in the comments, so you can go and immediately acquire all of their records. Because if I'm not promoting a record once every 5 minutes, I don't know who I am.
Okay, so I know who you are. I know that you've written a couple of books, and one is Easy Street, and the other one is Make It Worth It. And in Make It Worth It, one of the things that you talk about, well, in both the books, actually, you talk about inviting and including people. And we were discussing earlier that we were going to look at 4 ways for people to kind of get to the point where they like their job, or they feel that I love my job. So we've got people in the door. We got them in the door. They've got their minds right. They believe in advance that this is going to be good. They got a smile on their face. They're in it. They're in the door. Now what? And so I want to kind of roll this to you to talk about that invite and include piece, because what we're talking about is meeting people. Meeting people, but not just meeting them like, hi, what's your name? But meeting people where they stand. So making friends and understanding that we all engage socially a little bit different. Like you might have somebody that you interact with at work who's an extrovert. They're larger than life. They are, and for some of us, that's a little bit intimidating to come up against someone who's larger than life. And for some of us, that's exactly who we want to sit next to in the meeting because we're wired that way. We also might have some people who are introverts, are a little bit more quiet. They need some space. They need some time to think. So based on the beautiful books that you've written and your life experience, what do you think some people could do to meet people where they stand?
I love that you use the phrase meet people where you stand, because I am a big proponent of building the bridge. And when you build the bridge, let's go crazy with the metaphor. Let's really live in that metaphor. When you build a bridge, you have this space, and there's a land on either side of the space. And so before you build that bridge, you got to know what this side is made out of. Is it made out of sandstone? Is it made out of granite? Is it made out of a pile of little houses that people live in? What is this made out of? And then you got to know what this land is made out of. And if one of the lands is you, so your first challenge is to know yourself, which is, again, one of those trite things that is a Shakespearean throwaway quote. And yet, at the same time, how many people arrive in their 50s and suddenly go, I have no idea who I am, and suddenly discover who they are and buy red cars and drive too fast. So it's a cultural stereotype because it's a thing. So knowing yourself, don't wait. Start now to know what's on this side of the bridge. And then when you want to build the bridge to other people, you're gonna have to listen, and you're gonna have to be interested in other people, and not just interested in other people to taxonomize them or to categorize them. You're gonna need to be interested in other people so that you know how you can connect to them, how you can build that bridge, how you can meet them where they are. So you don't know where they are. They're gonna be here, and you're gonna be meeting them over there. And you'll be like, hey, I'm over here. And they're not gonna go there. You guys need to meet where the other person is. So yeah, and thank you for mentioning earlier about me growing up with music. My dad's a professional jazz musician, and I've always had music in my life. And having music in my life, especially bebop jazz, has taught me from a very early age about listening. But I don't think everybody learns about that. I don't think everyone necessarily learns how or why to listen, whether it's conversationally or physically, or just observing people in their environment and looking for those little cues that, you know, that's a person that's really wacky and I want to sit next to them, or, oh, I'm going to need to give that person some space before I really approach them and try to connect with them. So when you start to listen to people around you, if you've never done it before, it can be a really amazing and alarming experience.
And if you're curious and you're interested, and sometimes if you're quiet and situationally aware, the environment starts to really blossom, and you'll see the nuances in people. So, okay, we've got people in through the door. They've decided to smile. They walked in. They said, okay, I'm gonna believe in advance that this is wonderful. Now I'm gonna meet some people, and I might walk past these people every day in this job for a very long time. I never said hi to them in the hallway. But today, and I think this is what we were talking about last week, is visually acknowledging people instead of walking past them and ignoring them. Visually acknowledging people, saying hello, being curious, being interested, and finding out, you know, those little nuances about people. So now all of a sudden, we're not at work alone anymore.
No, there's all these other people to connect to build bridges to meet them where they are, and to include in what we're doing. Whether what we're doing is what the whole organization is doing, or just what we happen to be doing right now. Letting people in. It's a basic human need, and it's one of the most powerful basic human needs. When we exclude other people, the human body doesn't know the difference between somebody shutting a door in your face and somebody punching you in the face. Like the human brain chemically and electrically registers that exactly the same way. So when we recognize the pain that we cause from exclusion, for a lot of us, unless we're total sociopaths, we will start to practice intentionally ways to make sure that we're not excluding other people, that we're making eye contact with people, that we're giving a little bit of a smile, that we're being non-threatening, that we're being welcoming, that we're listening, that we're reflecting back to people things that they find really fascinating about themselves.
So now we've got a reason for people to connect and like each other. And I know that having friends at work is at the top of the list of what creates workplace satisfaction.
Yes.
People say, someone at work is my friend.
Yes.
We talk, we listen, we collaborate, we do something. Okay, so now we're in the door. We've got our minds right, we smiled, we've met some people, we've made some connections, we've built a bridge. Next, what we need to do is make a difference. And now we've got a team. Now we've got a team. And this, again, I keep going back to your book because, well, both of them because I like them so much. But, you know, the whole make it worth it thing, that making a difference, that group of people finding purpose in the work that we do and understanding what is our impact, not just as an individual, but as a team. And sometimes folks say, well, what I make doesn't impact anyone. Well, what do you make? Well, I just make these electronic components. Well, what do the electronic components do? Well, they go in a biomedical imaging machine.
Oh no, they save people's lives?
What does the biomedical imaging machine do? Well, it's used for CAT scans. Well, what happens when there's a CAT scan? We're saving people's lives. So I think that if we sometimes we're so predisposed to not celebrating what we do that we don't think about the impact of what we make.
Yes, it is so true.
Finding a purpose in the work that you do, whether it's as an individual, but and all of us as individuals are still providing something that's being used in a greater sense by other people. So talk to me a little bit about how you help people find purpose in the work that they do and understand what their impact is.
So what I do is I know that what I do has value. And the way that I found out that what I do has value is much too long of a story for our show tonight. But I will gladly talk your face off about it during another show. But I also have a couple of chapters in my books about it. But the point is, I know that I, through Phoole Enterprises, help people realize that they have value, that they are seen, and that they can make a difference in the world just one person at a time. Because everything in the world only actually happens one person at a time. What a history book will call a movement or call a revolution hundreds of years later, after it gets edited by the Texas Board of Education, what that started out as, this person over here having a conversation with this person while they had a bunch of coffee and had a bunch of books together, and then two people way over here having another conversation, never knowing about those people there, and then two people over there having a conversation, never knowing about these people over here. So I try to reinforce to people, you are important, you have value, I see what you're doing. Even if you don't see what you're doing, I see it, I reflect it back to you. And on top of all of that, even if you feel like it's not having an impact, Vincent van Gogh died thinking that no one would ever love his sunflowers. So that's kind of sobering, but at the same time, you're like, I make sunflowers all the time. Maybe they're making a difference. Maybe it's not up to me to know that right now. I just have to keep making the connections, showing up, and shipping the art. I have to keep shipping the thing that I make, even if it's a tiny little electronic diode inside of a piece of biomedical equipment. Because that is making a difference in the world. It's making it worth it. It's connecting people for a reason that keeps the world spinning.
And sometimes we don't get to see our end user.
No, and
we don't, and that's hard for people sometimes. So what I also think helps is in that corporate environment where we gather together, where we celebrate one another, we hang out. I think it's okay to have conversations that are very specific, where we praise each other and say, I see what you're doing, and let's talk about where this goes, multiple steps down the line. And it's okay to imagine that powerful, positive impact, even though we may never meet that person that we really touch. But the way I think to do that is to find an individual and a collective purpose in what you do and talk about, actually have conversations. What is our impact? What is the ripple effect? I have a friend who talks a lot about ripple effect. What is the ripple effect of what I'm doing today?
Right, absolutely. That's been a discovery for me in the past 5 years. For 25 years, I did live interactive performance where it was me and a crowd and a crowd and a crowd and a crowd. And I was entertaining one-on-one 17,000 people a day. And that's so rewarding because there's the people right in your face who are laughing, and then there's the people in the back who are too polite to laugh, and then there's the people 100 yards away who are always 100 yards away no matter where you go, but they're not going to come any closer. And that was so gratifying to go from that to a web presence where I'm like, is there anybody out there? Like, I can't hear you laugh. Oh my God. How do I know I'm not having an impact? Got in touch with me 6 months after she first started tuning in. I'd never seen a trace of her online. And she said, I was in a fugue state in a hospital after a traumatic incident, and no one in my family could get me to snap out of it. And an orderly pulled out his phone and started playing your show and said, this girl's really wacky. Maybe she'll entertain you. And so you kind of saved my life. And I'm like, what do I do with that after 6 months later? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you don't know what kind of an impact you're having. You have no idea. So you have to trust that you're part of this amazing machine.
So we have to believe in advance.
You have to. It's intention. You have to practice the intention of believing it.
All right. So we're talking about getting our minds right. So believing in advance. We're talking about meeting people where they stand. We're talking about making a difference, like finding that purpose around what you do. And then to like bring it all home, what I think makes it really so much easier to bring that feeling of I love my job to work every day is to give yourself permission to celebrate your victories. Like give credit where credit is due. We're talking about specificity. We're talking about specificity of praise, but giving credit where credit is due. It's taking time to celebrate those victories, saying, we just did something wonderful.
Yes.
And noticing everybody who's brought in a little piece to make that happen. Because, and I think we talked about this last week, we get seduced by being busy.
Yes.
So we finish one project and we go, great, that's done, and we motor on to the next one. But I think that pausing,
just take a second,
have that luxury where we celebrate and we say, look at what we did. You know, that's really important.
It is so important. And not only is that momentum seductive, but I feel like right now in Western culture, there's another thing that's seductive, and it's authoritarianism, where people like to punish in public and praise never. And it somehow people got this idea that that kind of authoritative power semblance is good, and it's not. Like, nobody believes it. It's everybody sees right through that, and nobody buys that. What people know is genuine is when you correct in private with a compliment sandwich, maybe a tray of compliments, and actual correction with goals. But the praise has to be public. It has to be a celebration. And I like that you say celebrate victories, because it can't just be, hey, that was nice, sticker on your monitor. Oh, you get a stamp on your hand. Woo. No, I mean, really celebrate.
And sometimes you got to throw your own party too.
Exactly.
So, you know, if you want to have that feeling of I love my job, and you want to have that every day, and you want this celebration, you may need to go and buy some cupcakes.
Yep, it's okay.
It's absolutely okay.
There's a book. I have this is sparking so many things for me, and I admire you so much, Deena. I'm so happy for having this time with you, but there's a book I want to recommend to everyone. Not that I know everyone's busy and everybody has a giant reading list, but get your Audible account out and listen to a book by Barbara Ehrenreich called Dancing in the Streets. This ties back into the very first thing that we talked about the intention of what was the very first point? It started with an M, because your first say again.
Mindset.
Right. Getting your mind right. Bringing the right mindset. So Barbara Ehrenreich does this wonderful cultural history of group celebration throughout world culture. And it's this great pageant of all of these cultures with these great public festivities from Roman times up through the flash mobs of 14th century France, which were a thing. They were called Phoole societies, and one of the Phoole societies infiltrated a royal ball, and then at a secret hidden queue, everybody suddenly took off all their clothes. Go France. Like, go flash mobs before YouTube. Well done. Before Vines. But the point is, when she comes up to the modern era, she goes, and now we have football. And that's when people are allowed to celebrate in large numbers in public. Don't you think we should have more reasons to celebrate in large numbers in public? And I think there should be parades every 15 minutes. Personally, I'm into celebrations. So yeah, absolutely celebrate victories and celebrate them with confetti and a siren and celebrate. Because humans need that. We need it.
Will you put that book in the comments when
I will. Dancing in the Streets, Barbara Ehrenreich.
That's fantastic. Right on.
So good.
It's nice. We had a little celebration at Propellergirl today too. So
we what's the first thing was mindset. Mindset.
Meet people.
Meet people.
Make a difference.
Make a difference and celebrate victory.
So like the believe in advance, meet people where they stand, find your purpose. And sometimes that shifts and changes. Like if you've got a purpose and it's working for you right now, and then you finish that particular project and it's time to move on to the next thing, you might need to reevaluate that and then bring it all back in, celebrate, give yourself a break, but dance in the streets a little bit, bring some cakes. And you know what? I think it's okay sometimes to toot your own horn. And I was talking about this before the show. I had a little show before the show, but we had a big, we finished the Propellergirl website and launched it today.
Yeah! Propellergirl.com. It's .com. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. All revamped and scrubbed and new. And
it's really shiny. And I woke up this morning and I was just like, yay, I get to celebrate it. And then I actually Googled how to launch a website because I wanted to do it right. You know, we put so much time and energy into the website. There were so many people who participated in it. And I thought, I don't want to do it wrong because we worked so hard. We even had a nickname. We called it the GSNW, the Glam Sexy New Website. And I read what the first 4 hits were. And they said, no, you shouldn't have a big announcement about your new website because everybody has a website and it's just expected you'll have a website, and you should just get back to the business of creating value for your consumers.
I celebrate when I have a new hairstyle.
And I looked at that and I thought, I thought about it. I thought, you know what, I'm going to step away from this because it's markedly different than what I thought I would see. And I stepped away from it for a while and I thought, you know what? No, because it's not about celebrating the website. It's about celebrating the people who worked on it. Right. And so earlier I said this, and I'm going to say it again. I thank every single person who toiled on that. The genius designer who held my hand, the photographers who made good lighting, the people out in events who took snapshots and sent them in. So I had these, random cool snapshots. The video guys, the cartoonists, the people who picked colors, the people who had opinions, the people who wrote thank you notes. Because, man, if you wrote a thank you note, it's probably on the website somewhere. And for me, it doesn't have to be the website that we're celebrating. It could be the financial prospectus that we finished, or the house that we just built, or the song that we just finished, completed recording, or the semester at school that we finished and the kids all graduated. It's the act of celebrating the people who found a purpose together because they knew each other, because they decided in advance, before it was proven, that they were going to love their job. Boom. My God.
Right. Why settle for the dopamine of just doing the thing when you can get more dopamine by celebrating the thing that gave you the dopamine? Like, just get it. Get the good feeling. Why not? Life is short and so am I.
Okay, so and here's what we should do. Usually our shows are meant to be 20 to 30, so we're at 35 minutes, so we've gone over a lot of time. Okay.
We're having too much fun, Deena. Rein it in. Rein in the fun. We can't.
All right, so you're Phoole. Phoole.com. That's Phoole.com.
That is correct. And you are Propellergirl. Propeller girl.com. So I'm so excited. It's got slick animation and really cool graphics and a really beautiful layout that moves your eye around all the content. It's a good site. It's a good site, Deena.
Thanks. Gosh,
you did a good job.
So, will you have another show with me? Want to do this again?
Yes, please. Volume 3.
All right, so let's figure out when we're going to do this, and we'll figure out what we're going to talk about. And
awesome.
Thanks to all the people. We had a bunch of people watch, and it's really nice to see everyone. We'll go put little notes in the comments for you, and if you ever have ideas of what you'd like us to talk about.
Yeah, we would love to talk about things
talk about what you want to talk about.
Exactly.
Hey, E, I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. I love you too. I miss you. I miss you already. Ah!
All right, we'll see you for Volume 3 soon. Thanks, everybody, for joining in.
All right, bye.